Howdy, 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 and more howdy to you. Welcome to the Lady Walker Show. I am Lady Walker, and beloved, we have a gem dandy of a show in store for you. And as always, thanks to Tria for tuning in. Well, my guest, he is of interest. And I know I say that a lot, but it's true. You will see for yourself. Anyway, he is the founder and CEO of a nonprofit organization that is called MACE, Mississippi. And he is an author. He has written his first book, I think. If not, he will let me know that, entitled From a Label to a Brand. Welcome to the show, Antonio V, as in victory, V. Wright. Greetings, Antonio.
How you doing?
All is well, all is well. And I got to tell you, Antonio, it's a pleasure to sit down and sup a little tea with you.
Thank you so much.
You are such an interesting person.
Well, God gets the glory. I appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you. This has been a beautiful experience.
Yes. Now, we got a lot to talk about in somewhat of a short and long time, but you are a good talker, which is always good for a host. Make the show flows pretty smooth, but
Yes,
you have
ma'am.
an interesting story.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are going to talk about life before the wheelchair and life now, after the wheelchair or in the wheelchair.
Yes, ma'am.
So before the wheelchair, well, first of all, tell us who is Antonio V, as in victory, Wright.
Antonio Wright is a country boy from Jackson, Mississippi, West Jackson, raised by a single mom for a very long time, and went through a lot of challenges, but at the same time, he's a man that believes in the faith that you're gonna have victory. I'm excited every day that I wake up because I just believe that I'm gonna have victory. And so he's a husband. He's a godfather of over 40.
Wow. Okay.
They stick. I can't get rid of them.
Yes.
But they go home.
They go home. That's the good thing. Okay. They go home.
I have over 40 godchildren, and I just believe that I'm a coach. I thought I was a football coach for a long time, but I realized that I'm a life coach. And I want to inspire not only people with disabilities, not only young people, but everyone to try their best to be the best on the most important day of their life, and that's the present.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Now, going back when you were in high school, you went to Hines Community College, or did you go to JSU later on? How did that happen?
I went to actually 7 elementary schools in 6 years. That's kind of a story in itself. My mother and father, they'll either be together for 3 months, then he'll do something. He was very abusive.
Oh.
Used to be abusive to my mother, was abusive to me. Actually put a hot iron in my arm at 6 years old because I didn't iron his clothes the right way. And so I went to one school. I went to Isabel in the 1st grade, Watkins 2nd grade, John Hopkins, Barb, Brown, Clausel, and so we bounced around a lot. I was blessed. I was also kind of wild, and you can imagine, and I was basically illiterate by the 5th grade.
Really?
Not having that foundation, the educational foundation, I could hide through my anger, through my attitude, and as a young person.
So the anger came from dad, because the abuse.
I believe that he taught me aggression, and I learned to emulate that aggression to hide my emotions. And so instead of, if a teacher asked me to get in front of the class to read, I couldn't read, and I wasn't going to be looked at like no dummy, so I would rather be looked at as a thug. So I flip a table over.
Wait a minute.
Send me to the office.
What grade are we?
From about the 1st grade through about the 5th grade, I couldn't read, and I was always the new kid at the school.
Okay, because every year you were going to another school.
So I'm always the new kid. So you know what? I'm always gonna be talked about. So and I'm alone. So I'm just gonna be aggressive. I was strong. I was physically, and my nickname was Huck.
Really?
And me and the Huck don't get along, okay? We all got different people inside of us.
Right.
Me and Huck don't get along to this day. But I went to Piney Woods for a year. My mom got tired of that, okay? And when I got to Piney Woods, I realized I wasn't a real thug. I realized that there's some real gangsters out there that I didn't want to be. Because at that time in the late 80s, they were sending the young men, those Crips from Chicago, from California, and the Black Gangster Disciples from Chicago, and they were sending them there to get them away from, their community. And I was in the 8th grade, and they're juniors and seniors in high school. I realized, that's not for me. Mama, please bring me home.
Did you?
Please bring me home.
Oh my goodness.
Got too hardy, and decided I wanted to be, instead of the bad guy, I wanted to be the teacher's pet. I wanted to be best dressed. I wanted to be a football player. And I completely changed from Huck to Antonio
And that
Wright.
was when you went to Pinewood and you saw what being a real gangster or whatever was like or whatever?
The attitude of a teacher, looking at her roll, and seeing the names on her roll right before school start, and to see Antonio Wright on her roll, and the fear in her eyes to realize that this nut is about to be my student.
Wow!
I didn't want to be that guy anymore.
Exactly, because we try to tell our relatives about that, the teens and everything about that same thing. Because if you are acting up in the classroom all the time, that teacher or the teachers are not going to want to put up with you and deal with you. So you're already, putting that bad taste in that teacher's mouth.
What I realized is that you are being watched. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where nobody wanted to babysit you. Nobody, and so your name follows you. When in the streets, my name followed me. Huck, everybody knew who I was. I was, from the boys club. So your name followed you wherever you carried yourself, and whatever they saw, that's what they were going to see. So I decided I wanted to show somebody else. I was tired of showing Huck. I wanted to be Antonio Wright.
Well, that was so good that you did eventually come to that realization, and it wasn't after you got completely out of 12th grade. You realized that somewhere around 8th, 9th, 10th grade.
8th grade, about the 8th grade. And it was really hard now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
imagine,
it was.
I had to take 2 math classes, my 7th grade math and 8th grade math, all the way through high school. I'm always taking 2 maths because I was behind.
Oh, really?
I had to take 2 sciences.
I always wonder why some people take 2 math and 2 science, and that's because maybe they may be.
Instead of taking the elective,
yes,
I would take the next grade math that I should have been in.
Okay, well that's
so my 7th grade math, and then instead of taking typing, I took my 8th grade math.
Okay, gotcha.
All the way through.
All right. Well, what we're going to do, we are going to take a break and come back, and we're going to talk about some other things on how you got to where you are today.
Thank you.
All right, beloved, we will be right back. Welcome back, beloved. My guest is Antonio Wright. He is the author of this book, From a Label to a Brand. And he is also founder and CEO of MACE, Mississippi. Now, Antonio, we were talking about, your time in school, and let's talk about the time you became interested into football.
Well, the gang started leaving me alone when I started playing football. They realized I was pretty good at it. I could take my aggression out. Instead of getting sent to the office for fighting, I got cheered for knocking somebody out, okay? So I played linebacker, and there I learned discipline, I learned character, I learned hard work, I learned how to be a loyal, how to be a teammate, and went to Provide High School under Stanley Blackman. That man still strikes fear in my heart to this day.
Yeah.
And it was at Provine, he really worked us. He really put us through physically to your limit. And then he challenged us academically. He wouldn't allow you to, and as a team, we challenged each other. And so there, I graduated high school with honors. The same.
Oh, did you now? For someone who couldn't really read from first through the fifth grade.
Yes, ma'am. Graduated Program High School with those gold cords.
All right.
It was the attitude of, if I work hard at whatever it is that I'm told to do, you tell me ABC, I'm gonna do ABC as hard as I can, as fast as I can, and then I'm gonna try my best to get ready for D.
All right.
That attitude and that effort helped me to get to Hines Community College, where I went to play football there. But actually, I got cut 3 times before I made the team. They didn't want me the first time. I was too small. I was too slow the second time. So every time they had a tryout, I was there. And they said, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll let you put on pads for your third tryout. If you make it, we'll talk to you about it then. 155 people are trying out for 55 positions.
155?
Are trying out for 55 positions.
Okay.
And I'm sleeping, I don't even have a dorm room. I slept in the lobby on a cot. I kind of lied to, you know how you in church, when you graduate, you talk about your scholarships and all that. I had lied, I did, I crossed my fingers. I told everybody I had a scholarship, and I actually didn't. I was a walk-on. I took everything I owned, my trophies, my box fan, my duffel bag, and I told myself, I'm not leaving here without a scholarship. I was the 55th person picked on that team.
Wow.
I ended up becoming a starter by the second year and led our team to a state championship. And I actually caught the blocked field goal to run it 76 yards to win the state championship game in the last minutes of the game. The same guy that walked on, same guy that got cut, the same guy that was sleeping in the lobby was the guy at the end of the game for the state championship game to win it. That was exciting.
Well, was that something that you wanted to be a lifelong goal, to play football?
You know what? My lifelong goal at that time was not to be an NFL football player.
Okay.
It was to be a Jackson State football player.
Did you ever become?
I finally got a chance to go to Jackson State my junior year in '96. Had to sit out that first year, and I got my uniform in '97 that Friday. That Saturday, they threw a big party for me because I was finally to be a Tiger. That Sunday, I went to Memphis. On my way home from Memphis that Sunday, we had a car wreck.
Okay.
So I never got a chance to play for Jackson State. The back tire blew in the Pathfinder, and my friend, she was driving it. She panicked, turned the wheel. The Pathfinder flipped 8 times. It landed every flip on the passenger side ceiling. I was ejected from the truck on the 3rd flip,
wow.
But the passenger side ceiling crushed into the seat. So if I had had my seatbelt on, I wouldn't be here. I was ejected and thrown a little over 150 feet from where my truck stopped rolling. I landed on my face and my chest in some grass. I was wide awake. I saw it all coming, and hit the ground, was wide awake. I fractured the lumbar 1. I shattered the L2. I twisted my spinal cord. My larger intestines completely wrapped around my spinal cord, and every organ in my body shifted. You could imagine my physical condition at the time. I was 5'11", about 215 pounds. I was about 6% body fat. I was fine. I'm just saying.
I heard that.
But the doctor said it was my physical condition, the reason why I did implode from the impact. I believe it was God's grace that put me in some soft grass. And from that moment, I was not the Antonio Wright that I was ever again. I was paralyzed from about the upper part of my thigh down. That was a difficult something to grasp, that it's possible you will never walk again.
Right.
Imagine this though. My accident was February 2nd. On February the 4th, we had the surgery. On February the 14th, I was out of the university into rehab. On February the 28th, 2 weeks later, I was at home.
That was pretty quick, wasn't it?
That was pretty fast.
Yes, with the injury that you sustained.
I should not have been done that fast. However, I was at home on February 28th, that Friday. That Saturday, my family threw a big barbecue for me.
Oh, really?
That Sunday, March 2nd, 1 month, the exact same day as my accident, my baby brother was murdered. He was my only sibling. He was 19 years old. He was shot one time in the chest. They stuffed him in the backseat of his own car. They poured 9 gallons of gasoline on my little brother and set him on fire.
Oh, so much hate.
It was a accidental shooting. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, okay.
They were in the back room playing with a gun. It went off. It hit him in the chest. They panicked. And people that I knew, people I grew up with, and they tried to cover it up. Literally, only one person served any time. The person that pulled the trigger did serve a day. The guy that bought the gasoline served 12 years.
Now that is interesting. The one who put the trigger didn't,
no,
but the one who bought the gasoline
served 12 years. My baby brother was gone the exact same day as my accident 1 month later. My mother literally almost lost her only 2 children. Mine was February 2nd on a Sunday at 11 o'clock that morning. His was March 2nd on a Sunday at 11 o'clock that night. I didn't have a lot of time to, feel sorry about myself being hurt because now my brother's gone. But what's kind of ironic that I believe nothing happens for
right.
I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe God has a plan for everything.
Well, we're going to take a break and let you come back and finish telling us what, everything happened for a reason and what that reason you believe it was for you. All right, beloved, we will be right back. Tonight's guest is Antonio B. Wright, founder and CEO of MACE, Mississippi, and author of From a Label to a Brand. For more information to obtain a copy of Antonio's book, Speaking Engagement, and about MACE, Mississippi, log on to www.macemississippi.org. Welcome back, beloved. Antonio Wright is the author of From a Label to a Brand. Now, Antonio, you were talking about everything happened for a reason. So, what is that reason you deem that reason was for you?
Well, I believe you better be careful what you pray for. Okay, because God might give you what you asking Him for. You might not be knowing what it is that you're actually asking for.
Right.
I was praying for patience for about 2 months before my accident. I was praying, God, make me into a good husband. God, make me into a good man. God, lead me in the right direction. God, give me patience. Give me patience. Give me patience. And I remember right after my accident, it was about 2 weeks after my brother was gone. I was holding his picture, waiting on somebody to come drive to Byram to pick me up because I can't drive at that time. And I said to myself, I might as well just be patient because I ain't got no choice.
Wow, and you've been praying and asking that God give you patience, okay?
So I don't pray for patience no more, okay?
I know.
I pray for wisdom. I pray for understanding now, okay? But what actually made me realize that, okay, now is a time that you don't give up, but you keep trying, just like you've always done with everything else. I got my degree from Jackson State University after my accident. I went and got my degree in health, physical education, recreation, and a minor in kinesiology. I started coaching football. If I couldn't play for Jackson State, I might as well coach for Jackson State. So I coached for Jackson State for 4 years as the strength and conditioning coach, the linebacker coach. I trained the girls basketball, the volleyball, and softball team. And for about 4 years. Then I coached high school football.
And this is all while you are in a wheelchair?
Okay. After my accident, I'm in a wheelchair. Now imagine this. Have you ever hit your funny bone before?
Huh?
Have you ever hit your funny bone?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever drank a slushie and you get a brain freeze?
Yes.
Okay. That nerve that you hit, imagine that brain freeze, that nerve in your groin, through your rump, up your back. about 25, 35 times every hour of every day for the rest of your life.
Oh my.
You have contractions of that elbow nerve, that brain freeze nerve in your groin, through your rump, up your back. And there's no pain medicine that can help you. There's nothing they can give you. You're gonna feel it and it's gonna release. It's gonna hit, it's gonna release. Not only that, but you have to put your pants on using your hands. You can never stand up again. And I told God this, I said, I might not ever walk again, but I will never stop running.
Oh.
So I coached football from a wheelchair high school for about 14 years. And physically, it started wearing my body out. My beautiful wife, I met her after my accident. Her name is Mahalia. She was supportive all the way through everything. But I was staying sick. So she kind of suggested that I, retire from coaching football. I made the choice, okay?
She just suggested
right.
You made the choice.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna say that.
Yes.
If she see this, then I'm gonna tell her.
Okay.
But after retiring from coaching football, I was bored for about 2 weeks. But I'm active, and I thought about something. If I'm bored, there's got to be somebody else in a wheelchair that's bored too. It's nothing to do with Mississippi. So that's where I started my nonprofit. It's called Metro Area Community Empowerment. And what we do is we provide recreational opportunities for people with disabilities to play wheelchair basketball, wheelchair softball, wheelchair tennis. We take them deep sea fishing.
Really? Deep sea fishing?
Yes, ma'am. We've even done skydiving. Wow. We take them scuba diving, hunting, whatever they want to try recreational. We pay for their hotel, gas, and food. So there's no excuse. Well, they come from all over the state of Mississippi to practice wheelchair basketball at the Walter Payton Center. We're hosted there. We're actually hosting the World Series of Wheelchair Softball in Mississippi, in Biloxi, this August. It's the largest wheelchair sporting event in the state of Mississippi's history.
Do you get a chance to play, or you just coaching?
I am very active. I made a promise that whatever sport we would participate in, I would, participate in. And so I do basketball, I do softball, I do tennis. And when it came to skydiving, I forgot that I had made that promise. So somebody made me hold up to that promise. So I even jumped out of the airplane.
So you did skydiving?
I even jumped out of the airplane. Now my wife wasn't very happy about that.
No, of course I can understand that.
She's still mad with that person that made me do that. But I do everything that I can do recreational with them. We also now are trying to do transportation, giving people opportunities to get transportation after hours when there's no J-Tran or public transit from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yes.
And so it's just my goal daily is to inspire somebody on the most important day of their life, the present, to do the best that they can be. So I do motivation speaking all over the country. I go to high school, elementary schools, colleges, and I have the opportunity to use this mouth.
That's great. That's great. I mean, you really are an interesting person. I mean,
Thank
to
you.
me, every bit. Well, we got one more minute, and then we are going to take a break. Now, being in the wheelchair, even though you could have felt sorry for yourself long term.
Yes, ma'am.
But did you ever get depressed, or you didn't get depressed? If you did, it was short-lived?
Well, I never had that why me attitude. I've always believed that why not me? What makes me so special that I can't go through something? What makes me so special that I can't have some trials and tribulations? Why not me? Why not having a challenge in my life? It's always been hard, but he's always showed me victory. He's always showed me favor. So I didn't get depressed. I didn't get down. I actually got motivated because if it's gonna be hard, then I gotta try a little bit harder. But I'm gonna make it look easy. I'm gonna make it look like it's easy.
That is so interesting, because when you look at life and you see some people succeeding in their endeavors, and it look easy to someone who want to get there but hadn't started preparing themselves to get there, it looks easy until you start doing it. But once you master what you are doing, it looks easy. We are going to take a break and come back and let you give out any contact information just in case someone would like to, purchase your book and would like for you to come out and speak and some of the other things you do and learn a lot about MACE. Just you may have someone who may have a physical disability and may want to participate in some of the programs you offer.
Thank you.
All right, beloved, we will be right back.
Tonight's guest is Antonio B. Wright, founder and CEO of MACE Mississippi and author of From a Label to a Brand. For more information to obtain a copy of Antonio's book, Speaking Engagement, and about MACE Mississippi, log on to www.macemississippi.org.
Welcome back, beloved. My guest is Antonio Wright, and that V is his middle initial. What that V stands for?
Van Keith.
Van
Keith.
Oh, Van Keith.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, interesting.
But
Van
Keith. I prefer Victory.
Okay. Exactly, Victory. Now, Antonio, this is a nice book. I like it. I like that smile. You got a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
Now, just in case someone would like to know, I would like to read this book. Now, how can I get a copy of this book? Where can they go in to obtain their personal copy, as well as if someone would like to have you to come out and speak and want to know more about MACE Mississippi? Give us that information.
Very easy. First of all, if you Google Antonio V. Wright, all of our information pops up, the website pops up, and it's MACE, M-A-C-E, Mississippi spelled out .org. You can find us there, and it has a bio. It has all of our information about what we do. We also have an event calendar. So if you would like to try and participate in some of the sports, there's always a number to contact us. We do wheelchair basketball on Wednesdays. We do wheelchair softball on Saturdays. And we take it from Jackson to Gulfport. And if you want to try it, we would love to give you opportunity. The book is very easy to find. It's in every bookstore online, but we have our own personal website that you can go to. And if you Google Antonio V. Wright, that website pops up as well. I thank you so much.
Well, Antonio, I appreciate you coming out. I can sit here and listen to you all day. You are so inspiring.
Well, God gets the glory. I just promise you this. I'm going to do my best. I don't know if I can do anything else, but I promise you I'm going to do my best.
All right. Well, thanks, Satria. Antonio, thanks, Satria, for coming out.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, beloved, there you have it. Antonio V. Wright, okay? So, look him up. Thanks, Satria, for tuning in, and I will see you next time on The Lady Walker Show. Ta-ta.